Hey y'all. Okay, so I know I've not been on here in a minute, but today is my bio mom's birthday. And so I thought about, I never really started that series that I was gonna do, growing up adopted. So I figured today would be the perfect opportunity. So let's get into it. Okay, so a little backstory. I may have mentioned this on like another post a while back or something, or somewhere out here in the social media stratosphere. I've told the story. I was 3 years old and my brother was 3 months old when my bio mom put us into foster care. Basically, she called, well, it's DCF now, but at the time it was HRS. So she called and was basically like, yeah, come get these kids. I can't take care of them. And so at the time, she just did not, she felt like she didn't have the tools or the strength or the capacity to function as a mother. So we were in foster care for years. Eventually, our foster parents adopted us, and bless their hearts, they was much older, from a totally different time and space. Like, they were born in the 30s, very old school, very Southern Christian. If you know anything about being Southern Christian Baptist, honey, that was the life that we lived. Okay, but nonetheless, I had a conversation recently where someone was like, just think about your mom, how much courage it takes for her to realize that she was not able to, function in that way, right? And so, I that really struck a chord with me, and I'm like, you know what? Yes and no, right? So I think people are like, oh, you grew up in a 2-parent household, you had structure, you had this and that, and it's like, yeah, it was not that cut and dry. So the adoption was closed, but my parents decided, because my mom was so young, she was like 20 at the time when we first went into foster care, right? So they felt empathy for her. The adoption was closed, but they still allowed her to contact us, come visit us, and then maybe like around 4th grade, my daddy was like, yeah, you're doing too much. We need to raise them. You're causing all kind of confusion. And, they need to like get settled in their new life, right? And so then she was only allowed to come around for birthdays and holidays. And it was always like, oh, well, are they beating y'all? Are they doing this or that? Oh, and, Mr. Sapp, which was my daddy, don't be in the house with him by yourself. You don't know if that man might try to do something to you. Meanwhile, like, this man is raising me, right? But because I knew she was my mother, and I had that relationship with her prior to going into foster care, like, her voice still rang the loudest in my head, right? And for many years, like, well, until maybe high school, maybe, I was afraid to be at the house with my daddy. Like, oh my gosh. And so even throughout the years, she was like, don't listen to them. Like, I'm your mother. They're trying to brainwash you guys. Mind you, this lady called people and told them to come get us, but they're trying to brainwash us. Okay. Anyway, so it was just a lot of emotional turmoil that came about over the years. My parents would say, like, she favored me more than my brother. She would say they favored my brother more than me. So a lot of times, like, I was like caught in like this tug of war, and it was just very much something. So also, she would say, like, once you turn 18, you're gonna come stay with me. And so I'm thinking, like, okay, like, yeah, as soon as I get out here, I'm gonna live the good old life, And child, I'm gonna tell you, my mom was a very special individual. That's all I'm gonna say, because I still want to be able to honor her. Also, I did not mention that May of 21, she passed at 60 years old. So today, like I said, just kind of sharing some of my story, but definitely not like in a way that would be like dismissive of her or our relationship. But so as when I became an adult and tried to have a relationship with her, it's like she had not forgiven herself for making that decision. And I feel like that caused so much chaos in her life, because she lived in that past, and she lived in that guilt and shame of the decision that she made. So the moral of the story of me wanting to just kind of share a little bit of my experience is that, like, sometimes our current situation may be very cloudy, right? Our circumstances may seem so dire and so heavy, and it's like, I don't know what to do. And we may want to feel like in that moment giving up, but we have to trust ourselves enough and trust God enough to not make a permanent decision based on a temporary circumstance, right? I think about myself as a single mom at, turning 22 years old, having a child, and then since 16 months later I have another child, right? It's like, what do I do, right? But I said, you know what? I just had faith that God would see me through it, right? And I feel like that's the mindset that we have to take when life comes at us and gives us the unexpected. Just realize that situation is temporary. Allow God time to work. Allow God to show you who He is and who He can be in your life. So I hope that encourages somebody today. Like I said, I have stories galore, honey, stories galore. But even up to my mom's passing, I just kept trying to tell her, like, look, you don't owe anybody an explanation for what happened 40 years ago. You did what you did and it happened, but move on. Be thankful that you even have me in my life. There's so many people that give their children up for adoption and never even see them again. They left their lives worrying, but you were still able to literally see me grow up, see me become a woman, have a relationship with your grandchildren, right? So also I would just add to that no one has the right to hold your past against you. Go to God, seek repentance, ask forgiveness, but more importantly, forgive yourselves and close that chapter and turn the page and start new and start fresh. So I hope that encourages somebody today. And again, I'll try to do more of these little story times. Or maybe this wasn't so little. I don't know. But anyway, happy heavenly birthday to my mom. And wishing you all a great and wonderful day. Chat soon. Peace.